I'm so excited to have Peggy with me today. We're talking about Brave Journey. She was part of my Brave Journey program. She was amazing enough to wake up at 6:30 a.m. her time to do this interview. I'm over in Europe right now, so I'm 6 hours ahead, and this is the time that worked for us. So Peggy was part of my last Brave Journey group, and so welcome, Peggy. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
wanting to talk with me. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you could explain, like if you were to talk to someone about what Brave Journey was, what was your experience? What would you say to what would you say to them? What would you say to whoever's listening to this who's wondering what in the world is this program and what would I get out of it?
I learned so much about myself. Like it really is a journey to learn about yourself. And it was amazing. And having the small group of women that we were all going on that same journey together and seeing how you know, they are each their own unique self and going on their own journey. And then each of us, I'm not expressing myself very well, but it was,
Good, you're good.
I learned so much. It was invaluable.
So maybe for the audience who knows less about Brave Journey, explain what when you're saying each woman's going on their own journey. So we have, Brave Journey is a small group of coaching programs. So this time we had a small group of women that were all planning and going on a trip, but maybe say it a little bit in your words, like if you're talking about they're all going on their own journey, what did that look like for everyone?
So to me, it really wasn't so much about the travel, even though we did have women going to Macedonia, I think it was, and Thailand and Finland and all these amazing places. Really, Brave Journey, I feel like, wasn't about those journeys. It was about discovering ourselves, learning these are the things that are unique to me, and this is how I view the world, and to help me understand myself, um, to have more compassion for myself, um, to have more patience with other people who function differently. Um, yeah.
What what stood out to you in the program? Like what was your favorite part of it?
Oh, it's hard to say a favorite part because the assessments in the beginning were so valuable to learn about myself. And then to be able to compare notes with the other women, hear what they learned about themselves. And then all of the prompts that you had us do, like the homework that you had us do after each meeting, that really, that was the part that was a journey, was to like really think about things in a way that I hadn't before. I really hadn't understood before when people said, do the work. I didn't know what that meant, doing the work. Um, what it means is like thinking about things in a different way. Like, why do these certain things make me anxious? Or why do people get frustrated with me when I'm just trying to tell them what to do? Or, you know, that was a thing for me. Um, yeah, so that was the journey, was having that homework each week and then coming back to the group and discussing with the other women what we had learned about ourselves, and that just was so valuable. As the way that you guided us with the assessments and the prompts and the discussions, to hear the other women talk about themselves helped me think about myself in a different way. That was really, really helpful, which is amazing to be 60 years old. And, and for the first time to be going, oh, that. I'm that way, and that makes me like that's a unique thing about me. And um, the really big aha for me was, oh, that I am so task oriented, and that
Ah,
that is not something like not everybody approaches the world that way.
mm-hmm. You know, that was,
That's huge.
yeah, because that was a light bulb for me too, because I'm task oriented also. And I didn't know everyone wasn't like that. Uh,
Yeah.
so people like that used to frustrate me, or we like, you know, we project differently to other people because we are task oriented too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it helped me understand why sometimes people are frustrated with me. And so I can take a different approach to people now that I understand, well, they are wired differently from me, which I mean, I knew that concept that different people are wired different ways. I didn't know that I am wired this way, which is different from a lot of people.
Yes, I mean, I think for those who might watch parts of this interview, um what Peggy's talking about is this assessment that we do for that I have everyone in the group do, partly just for me as a coach to understand your personality and how to best coach you, but also it's really helpful within the group for us to know the differences in our personalities, and if someone we, you know, sometimes there are people we really click with and other people that frustrate us more, and sometimes when we understand these differences, we give grace to one another in a different way, and also grace to ourselves, right? Because when we start to realize, oh wow, this is my personality, this is how it works, and even if it's different than people around us, then we know, then we can kind of embrace it and know this is who we are, um and this is how we're made. And yeah, we might adapt some things to better communicate, um but am I saying this, am I encapsulating it correctly from your experience?
Yes, yes. And I think that part that you said about giving yourself grace, like, oh my gosh, we all need to do that more. So if you can better understand yourself, then you have the tools to be kinder to yourself, appreciate yourself more.
Yeah, and the reason with Brave Journey I start with this kind of these assessments to help us understand ourselves is that I think it's so important to have done some of that work prior to your travel, because a lot of times people just decide, buy a ticket, I'm gonna up and go travel for a while or go on a trip, and don't think about any of these things. And I think once you get to know yourself a little bit better, you not only learn how to create a trip that really suits you, but you also give yourself more grace in the process of it, of like, well, this is how I approach things, and it might be a little bit different than your friend who did this way, or this person you meet, or the person you're traveling with, or you know, whatever it is. um so it just sort of gets us started in learning about ourselves, because I think you know, you don't just take a trip and show up um and everything changes for you and you have this transformative experience, because when we travel we go with ourselves, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we're still taking ourselves with us, but the more we're, but I do think it allows this place for us to, this space for us to be with ourselves in a different way. And the more we, more work we have done or are doing on understanding ourselves, the deeper we can go when,
Hmm.
when we're in those places or when we have that time and space away. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way I think of it is going on a trip is such an investment of money and time that like it's good to do the work beforehand so you can get the most out of the experience that you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research that shows too that the more work that you do before the trip, prior to the trip, and planning it, getting ready for it, the work that you do yourself, the better you enjoy the trip actually, and the more you get out of it. So there's actually some good research behind it too. Um, that's that's one of my favorite parts is just y'all coming back after, like, usually I give you some things to think about after our meetings, and then having y'all come back and talk about what came up for you that week and what bubbled up and what you're learning about yourself, where we talk about old and new stories, um and everyone sharing. Like, what's interesting to me is how much y'all get to know each other and really care about one another, and to watch that rapport grow, and to watch you all just come into it bringing your own information, and then seeing aha moments. It's like it's so interesting to me because you're vibing off of each other, right? You're learning from and with each other, which I love watching.
Yeah, come to think of it, that is the most valuable part of it for me was the format of it, where we weren't just coming together once or for just a couple weeks. We had the time and the space to really to have experiences in between times that we met and to really get to know each other. And I feel like, I don't know, that's kind of a lacking thing in the world right now, is to really connect with
Mm,
other people. And that was just amazing to be able to really connect with these women. And I feel like I have friends for the rest of my life now.
mm. I love that. And that's so fun to me too. That's an outgrowth of the program that I'm not even sure I hoped would happen, but I wasn't sure, like, was it was it actually going to happen, you know? But when I did, like, the program is designed to be 6 months long. Um, and that's for a reason. It's because I wanted to create time for there to be true connection with each other. Because I think so many times we join these programs that are like 3, 4 weeks, and it promises a lot of stuff, and I just think that it's really hard to create a transformation in that short amount of time. And it's especially hard to really truly connect with people and get to know them at a deeper level, which is for sure like an outgrowth of Brave Journey. You're all going on your own journey, you're all planning your own travel experience. But because you're doing similar things alongside of one another, you're getting to know each other along the way. You're like facing fears together. So the
Mm.
fears that we talk about early on, and then you see, like we talked, Lisa was in our group, and Lisa was terrified of traveling overseas because she had never been overseas and very nervous. So we heard her talk about that, right? And then she goes on her trip, and then you all get to see what happens when she's on the trip and how she's experiencing it. It's just um one example, but it's been like I definitely enjoy that piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could say one thing to someone thinking about taking this program and being part of it, um, what would you say? What are your thoughts?
You're going to learn things about yourself that you didn't even know that you needed to learn.
Mhm. I love it.
Brave Journey is not necessarily about travel. It's about going on a journey to discover yourself. Which, like, Brave Journey creates a space for you to learn about yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was good right there. That is so true. Um, because that honestly, what you just said, that was my own experience too. I was on a journey to rediscover myself. It just so happened that I did it overseas while I was traveling because it created a space for me to get away and to do that. Um, a lot of people think they have to go on some kind of crazy long big trip.
Mm,
Um, and you didn't really, and you still got a lot out of the program.
yeah. So, Brave Journey helped me learn about myself so that when even though I was just driving to another state, um, and it really helped me to, when I was meeting new people, I think it helped me approach people in a different way. It helped me be confident in a way that I hadn't um, in other times when I took a road trip.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, because you some women in Brave Journey are going on an international trip, going on a longer extended stay. Um, and people always ask me this, do I have to go on this big international travel experience? Is that the only kind of travel that is transformational? And I actually think you could because I think the transformational part is creating space to be with yourself, to meet yourself just in a different backdrop. That also could look like you going to the state next door. It could look like even a city 2 hours away. So it doesn't have to be this huge long journey because not everyone has the time necessarily to do that. And some people don't want to go that far away. Some people want to go shorter. And with you, you ended up going to Virginia, um, which is, not, it's a good distance from where you live. But it's more like a road trip, right? So but to watch you get ready and then see your photos there, and that was a lot of the fun for me, and I think the group as well, for us to see like you in your element, for the kind of things that you were doing and traveling, and like you had some really fun pictures. So I'm just wondering how, and I know sometimes we usually talk about before people go on their trip on how you want to feel on that journey. um
mhm.
that you did a little work around that, so I'm just wondering, if you could talk to the group a little bit about your own travel journey, that was, a little bit different than some of the other women, but I think you still got a lot out of it, and the entire experience.
I definitely did. I'd been married for a very long time, and I truly believed I cannot drive in traffic, like in big city traffic. Like, I'm not capable of doing that. And Brave Journey helped me be a person who, like, I think that I can do hard things. And
Mm.
I'm gonna I'm gonna get in this car and I'm gonna drive and see how it goes. And it went great. And I just feel so empowered. It's been
Mm.
wonderful.
I love it because I actually remember you texting me and saying, I didn't think I knew how to drive in traffic. And you were like, I actually can.
I
Um,
like it wasn't even hard.
which doesn't surprise me because we all have learned over time how capable Peggy really is. Um, because you are like superwoman in my opinion. Like, you're always fixing things, learning things, and and it was so fun for for me and for the other women too, to kind of watch that and to see how capable you were. And I think, at least I hope we did, I think we tried to reflect that back to you because you don't always see it, especially if you've been married for a long time to someone who doesn't see those things in you. And then you're not sure like anymore who I am or what I'm actually good at. But to have a group of women to like reflect that back, and then for you to experience it, to be like, oh my God, I actually am so capable in this area. And here you thought you couldn't drive in traffic, and
Yeah.
you excelled. Like, what did you say? You said not only could I do it, I was actually really good at it.
Yeah, like it wasn't even hard. Like it wasn't I thought, "Oh, this is gonna be terrifying. I'm gonna end up on the side of the highway calling 911. So I can't get off on the right exit. It's gonna be awful. I can't, navigate by myself." But I could and I did.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was so fun to have you as part of it. So thank you for
Thank you.
that. Like, Brave Journey really only works with, like, it works because of the women involved in it, because you all
Absolutely.
are willing to like do the work and share together and go deep, and then come away from it with this new group of friends, which is, fun for me to watch and then fun for me too, because I get lots of new friends as well.
Yeah, that part that you said about them reflecting, like for me to hear from them what they saw in me, like, oh, that was really, yeah, to hear that they thought that I was very capable. Like I hadn't really thought of myself that way before.
Mm. Which is so interesting because you to me are the epitome of like strong, capable woman. But it's interesting that you don't see yourself that way. But that's what
Yeah.
I love about group programs is we're able to like the ones where you really connect because
Yeah.
you gain that trust with each other, and then you're getting to see yourself through their eyes, and it's this beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I understand that too because I you and I are similar in this way. I often think I'm not capable and that I can't do stuff, or that I'm like woefully I like the word in my head says Dawn is woefully inadequate to be doing these things. um and I actually think that often, and then I have women in my life who reflect back things differently to me, or I learn lots on this program too, because sometimes you guys are seeing things I'm doing or talking about, or you're noticing things about me, and you mention it, and I'm like, oh wow, that's actually true. So which is really fun too. And I think that's for me, that's an important part. Like I'm a coach, but it doesn't mean I know everything. And I'm always
Mhm.
learning and growing as well. And my goal is to always be learning and growing with you guys.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I'm grateful for that as well.
Well,
Depend on your job.
okay, here's another little blurb. I have felt like, oh, I don't have time. But you have to make the time to invest in yourself. There is nothing more valuable.
Mhm.
Yeah, right?
This is so true. It's so easy for us to be like, yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
time for that, or that program 6 months. What? We've got to meet every, 2 or 3 times a month. I don't have time for that. But
Yeah. I felt like, no, I have to like, remodel my kitchen and do all these important things. Well, yeah, but you really need to take a look at yourself to be better equipped to do all those other things.
it's so true to like spend the time on ourselves, which we're not always taught to do.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am so, so thankful.
Well, thank you, Peggy, for making the time to chat with us about Brave Journey. Is there anything else about your experience in Brave Journey that comes to mind, or that you want to say to other people?
That it's not about going on a big trip that's for Instagram pictures. It's about learning about yourself and really connecting with other women. It was an amazing experience.
Thank you.
I hope
Yeah.
you remember how amazing you are, that you're doing this and really impacting people's lives.
Thanks.
Yeah.